I love working on education projects because you get clients that are so passionate about what they do, and it allows us really to make a difference in people's lives across all age groups, from early learning to tertiary and research facilities.
We push and push and push to give them everything we can possibly get out of the budget, out of the site and out of the brief, because we know that it means a lot to them.
With the diversity of stakeholders that you have in education, connecting with them through a range of methodologies is really important. People engage with the built environment in different ways, so presenting things through a VR environment or option testing, and working with them in physical space to test things and provide that sort of experimental, iterative response to design allows us to really bring our clients along the journey.
Ultimo Public School is a beautiful, beautiful school we did in collaboration with Lacoste and Stevenson. It's built in an old quarry. What it is a series of terraced levels, where on the low part of the site it's 4 stories and single story on the high part of the site. And the classrooms are designed around these courtyards that cascade down to the center of the building. All of the general learning areas face out onto a courtyard. So it's like this little oasis in a very heavily built up neighborhood.
One of the components that's unique about tertiary education as opposed to secondary or primary is that it's so global. When you design for a school, or say a secondary school or a primary school, you're talking about creating a community in the school. When you're designing in a tertiary environment, it really is a broader ecosystem of learning spaces that support industry, research and learning, and that really opens up some amazing opportunities and exposure to things that you simply don't see anywhere else.
So universal design is quite broad these days. It's no longer just looking at the standards, making that work. It's much broader. So we need to look at people's gender, disabilities, and ensuring environments are equitable. And we do that with a really robust system and process. So the end user is fundamentally at the centre of the design, and how we design for our clients, how we design interior spaces is centred around that user.
For some schools, there is the opportunity for joint or shared use with local communities. Not every school wants this, but many do, and there has been a shift in this direction, particularly where it gains additional funding. Now, this is something that, particularly for new build schools, we need to consider right from the outset, from that master planning stage. It can affect things like the secure line of a school, so that we separate out the portions that have that shared use, so that they can be accessed out of school hours.
When considering different user groups, what we've found recently in working on a number of specialist and supported inclusion schools for the government, that you can really take those lessons learnt and bring them across to mainstream schools. Therefore, that helps support diversity and inclusion within the design of those schools too.
When we master plan a school, we think about not only what are we putting into this school today, what is going in this phase. We also need to think about, if this suburb expands, if it rapidly develops, where could we build additional facilities? And can the core facilities of a school cope with that expansion?
By bringing in principles of sustainable design, it becomes a learning tool, the building itself, and it means that children actually understand and value the importance of this as they develop and take these life lessons forward.
For us, flexibility in the way that we design is manifold. I think we look at the way that spaces are connected, the way that furniture settings and audio-visual allow spaces to be reconfigured and allow spaces to be opened and closed. But really it's all about choice and the way that students and educators have the ability to create their own learning space. The way that that flexibility allows new ways of learning to be explored and discovered will really benefit the outcomes for students and staff.